Hi, in today's class we are starting new chapter, that is sound. In this sound chapter we are going to learn sound definition, medium of sound, longitudinal and transverse wave, oscillatory motion. Some of the definitions like wavelength, frequency, time period, amplitude, tone, note, overtones, fundamental note, etc. Law of reflection, echo, reverberation, infrasonic sound, ultrasonic sound, and last one is sonar. Now we'll move on to sound chapter like solar solar energy, electric energy, gravitational energy. Like this, sound is also a form of energy. Like all the other energies, sound is not visible to us. It produces a sensation of hearing when it reaches the ears. Electricity, electric energy, we can feel the electric energy. Like solar energy is also we can feel that, we can't see that. In the same way, sound is also a form of energy. We can feel that, but we cannot see that. Next, do you remember what is this? Yes, it is a tuning fork. I think you all familiar with this tuning fork and with the tuning fork experiment. I think in BSc or in PU. What we'll do with this tuning fork? Just we will hit something to this from this tuning fork, and we will listen the sound. So what you learned from this, that is sound is produced due to the vibration of different objects. Though sound is a form of energy, it is produced due to vibration of different objects. Next, we know that sound is a form of energy and it produced due to vibration of objects. How it reaches from source to receiver? Now I am speaking and you are all listening. How? Through app I am saying and you are all listening. In the same way, for any sound or a substance sound can transmit, that is called as a medium. That is, a matter or a substance through which sound is transmitted is called as a medium. It may be a solid, liquid or gas, but it cannot travel through a vacuum. So for a sound wave propagation, we need medium. That medium may be a solid, liquid or gas. Sound cannot travel through vacuum. Next, longitudinal waves. See the picture. This is a picture of longitudinal waves. In longitudinal waves, the individual particles of the medium move in a direction parallel to the direction of propagation of the disturbance. See the picture. The sound is moving in a straight way, that is parallel to the direction of propagation. The particles do not move from one place to another place, but they simply oscillate back and forth from their position to the rest. See the picture. If you start from one point that moves upward and reaches one certain point, then it comes back. This process will goes on continuous. That is, the particles do not move from one place to another, they are simply oscillate back and forth from their position of rest. This is exactly how a sound waves propagates. Hence, sound waves are the longitudinal waves. Sound travels as successive compressions and rarefactions in the medium. See, this is compression and this is rarefaction. The sound waves moves like a compressions and rarefactions in the medium. In sound propagation, it is the energy of sound that travels and not the particles of the medium. In the sound propagation, the energy is moved from one place to another place, but the particles do not traveling. The particles are vibrating in their position, but the energy is transferring from one point to the another point. Next, longitudinal waves, transverse wave. This is also a type of wave called as transverse wave. In the transverse wave, particles do not oscillate along the line of wave propagation but oscillate up and down from their mean position as a wave travels. See, here the particle is moving to certain height. It is not suddenly increasing, it is gradually increasing and gradually decreasing. This is a transverse wave. In a transverse wave, particles do not oscillate along the line of wave propagation but oscillate up and down about their mean position as a wave travels. Thus, a transverse wave is the line in which the individual particles of the medium move about their mean position in the direction perpendicular to the direction of propagation. This straight line is the direction of propagation. First it moves upward, and this is moving perpendicular, not in a parallel, but longitudinal waves moves in a parallel to the direction of propagation, but the transverse wave moves perpendicular to the direction of propagation. See, you all know this is simple pendulum. How it moves? If we apply some force to this thread, the simple pendulum moves to start to move. So it starts from point B, it reaches C, then again it comes back to B, then it moves back to A, from A it comes to B. In like this way the simple pendulum moves. That is, to and fro motion of an object is known as a vibration, and this motion is known as a oscillatory motion. To means towards, fro means back. Moving to and fro motion of an object is known as a vibration, and this motion is known as a oscillatory motion. To and fro motion of an object is known as vibration, and this motion is known as a oscillatory motion. How you count as a one motion? I mean one one oscillation. How you will count it as a one oscillation? If you start from point A, then the pendulum moves to point C, then it come back to A. In this way we'll count it as a one oscillation. That is, the change in density from one maximum value to the minimum value and again to the maximum value makes one complete oscillation. That means we are starting from point A, next the pendulum reaches point C, then it comes back to point A. Then now it is one oscillation. Amplitude and frequency are the two important properties of any sound. For any sound, amplitude will be there, frequency will be there, and wavelength will also be there. Now we will know what you mean by wavelength. The distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions is called as a wavelength. See the picture. See in this picture, this is the compressions, next it is rarefaction, then again it is a compression. The definition says the distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions is known as a wavelength. So the distance from one compression to the next compression is known as a wavelength, or the distance from one rarefaction to the another rarefaction is known as a wavelength. See, in longitudinal waves, the distance between the two consecutive troughs or two consecutive crusts is known as a wavelength. The SI unit of wavelength is meter. It is usually denoted as m. Once again, wavelength, the distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions is known as wavelength. The SI unit of wavelength is meter and it is usually denoted as meter, m. Next, time period. The time taken by a wave for one complete oscillation of the density or pressure of a medium is called as a time period, and it is denoted as T. See the picture. We are starting from point A. Now we will start reading the noting the time. It moves to C, then it comes back to A. The time for one complete oscillation is known as a time period. Its SI unit is second. It is denoted as S. Time period. The time taken by a wave for one complete oscillation of the density or pressure of the medium is known as time period, T. Its SI unit is second, denoted as S. Next one is frequency. The number of complete oscillations per unit time is known as frequency. The number of complete oscillations per unit time is called as a frequency. F is equals to 1 by T. The frequency is expressed in hertz. It is denoted as Hz. H is caps and Z is small. H written in a small letter. Z. Hz. Hertz. Next, amplitude. Amplitude of a sound is the measure of the height of the wave. See the picture. First we'll learn in this one. The height of the rarefactions or compressions is known as the amplitude. It will clearly shown in C. Amplitude. The distance from the direction of this perpendicular line to the height, maximum height is known as the amplitude. Its SI unit of amplitude is meter. It is denoted as m. Amplitude means amplitude of a sound wave is the measure of the height of the wave. The SI unit of amplitude is meter. Next, the loudness or softness of the sound is determined basically by its amplitude. Height means, if I am talking, see, now I am talking very slowly. So I am talking. See, now I am talking very slow voice. I am talking very slow voice means I am talking very soft voice. If I talk loudly, it is a loud voice. That this softness and loudness is depends on the amplitude, that is height of the sound wave. The amplitude of a sound wave depends upon the force with which the object is made to vibrate. Loudness and softness is based on the amplitude, but amplitude is depends upon the force with which the object is vibrate. Larger the amplitude of the vibration, the louder will be the voice. If larger the amplitude of the vibration, if the amplitude of the vibration is large, then the louder will be the voice. If the amplitude of the vibration is small, then the sound will be soft. Next, The frequency determines the shrillness or pitch of the sound. If the frequency of vibration is higher, we say that the sound is shrill. Frequency is high, sound is shrill, and the pitch is also high. If the frequency of vibration is lower, we say that the sound is of lower pitch. Next, no, tone. What do you mean by tone? A sound of a single frequency is called as a tone. If we are listening a sound, or if we are getting constant sound, then it is called as a note. If the listening sound is, once it is very loud, and next time it is very soft, next time it is high, next it is slow, soft, then that note is called as a, then that tone is called as a note. Several frequencies present in a note. That is multiple, definition only they are saying multiple frequencies, that is several frequencies present in the note. The sound of lowest frequency is called as a fundamental note. There are many frequencies present in the note. In those frequencies, the lowest one is called as a fundamental tone. The remaining tones are called overtones. In several frequencies, the lowest tone is called as a fundamental tone, and the other tones are called as overtones. Next, in overtones, which in the overtone which have their frequencies simply multiple of the fundamental frequency is known as harmonics. In note, there will be a one fundamental note, and all the remaining are overtones. In the overtones, there will be a one note which is multiple of the in a overtone which have their frequency simply multiple of fundamental frequency is known as a harmonics. In note there will be a several frequencies. The lowest frequency is known as a fundamental tone, and the remaining are called as a overtones. In those overtones, the multiples of their fundamental tone is known as a harmonics. All harmonics are overtones, but the converse is not true. See, this is a music note. We don't know the meaning of this note, but this is an example for note, music note. This is a music note. Next, sound propagates through a medium at a finite speed. The speed of this sound depends on the properties of the medium through which it travels. The speed of this sound depends upon the temperature and pressure of the medium. That is, the speed of the sound depends on the temperature and pressure of the medium. The speed of the sound decreases when we go from solid to gaseous state. That is, the speed of the sound decreases when we are moving from solid to gaseous state. In any medium, as we increases the temperature, and in any medium, as we increase the temperature, the speed of the sound increases. In any other medium, as we increase the temperature, the speed also increases. So in this, the important thing is the sound wave depends upon the temperature and pressure of the medium. The velocity of a sound through a gas is inversely proportional to the square root of density of the gas. the velocity of a the velocity of a sound through a gas is inversely proportional to the square root of density of the gas. Next, law of reflection. The law of reflection of sound states that the direction in which the sound is incident and reflected make equal angle with the normal to the reflecting surface, and the three lies in the same plane. See the figure here. The green color shows the sound wave is incident on the boundary. The blue line shows it is moving back, that is reflected wave. The black line shows normal line. This law of reflection says that incident angle and reflected angle should be equal. I and R should be equal, and this incident wave, normal wave and reflected wave should all lie in the same plane. Once again, law of reflection of sound states that the direction in which the sound is incident and reflected makes equal angle with the normal to the reflecting surface, and the three lie in the same plane. That is incident wave, normal line and reflected wave must lie on the same plane, and that incident angle and reflected angle must be equal. Next, now we will move on to echo. Maybe in your childhood you are all visited to some mountain or any hall. In that hall, when you shout, actually in my childhood we are visiting one mountain. In that mountain we are shouting our name, so that we are getting our names in multiple times. That is sound wave, that is called as a echo. That is, if we shout or clap near a suitable reflecting object such as a tall building or a mountain, we will hear the same sound again a little later. The sound which we hear is called as a echo. That is, if we shout on a mountain or a tall building, we will get the sound back for after some time, or some time means a little time. That is called as a echo. That is, if we shout or a clap near a suitable reflecting object such as tall building or a mountain, we will hear the same sound again a little later. This sound we will hear is called as an echo. The sensation of sound persists in our mind, brain, for about 0.1 second. See the picture. Here a boy is shouting. That is, the sound wave is moving and it is hitting the red wall and it is coming back to the boy. This is known as echo. See the above mark, that is, it is moving, then it hits the wall, then it is coming back to the boy. This is known as a echo. To hear a distinct echo, the time interval between the original sound and the reflected one must be at least 0.1 second. Next, if we take the speed of the sound be 334 meter per second at a given temperature, say at 22 degrees Celsius in air, the sound must go to an obstacle and reach back to the ear of the listener on reflection after 0.1 second. It is the minimum time. Hence, the total distance covered by the sound from the point of generation to the reflecting surface and back should be at least 334 into 0.1 is equals to 34.4 meters. Thus, for hearing distinct echoes, the minimum distance of an obstacle from the source of sound must be half of the distance, that is 17.2. This is an important point, that is for hearing a distinct echoes, the minimum distance of an obstacle from the source of sound must be half of the distance, that is half of the 34.4 is equals to 17.2 meters. Next, this distance will change with the temperature of the air. This we gave one distance, that is 17.2, but this distance is changes with the temperature. Echoes may be heard more than once due to successive or multiple reflections. This echo may be one time or many times due to the multiple reflections. The phenomena of prolongation of sound due to successive reflections of sound from surrounding objects is known as a reverberation. In simple terms, reverberation means the sound waves will still continues to vibrate after the original source of sound has been stopped. That means if we stop this shouting, then we are getting echo voice many times, that is known as a reverberation. Now you all get one doubt, that is what is the difference between echo and reverberation. Echo means single time, reverberation means many time, that is reverberation is a superposition of echoes. See the example. See this picture. In the picture, someone is making some noise. There are 4 people sitting on the chair. The sound waves from this object will move in many directions, and it gets reflected in many ways. They are all listening to the listeners. This is called as a reverberation. You all know about stethoscope. Stethoscope is used to listen the heartbeat. This is based on the multiple reflections of sound. Stethoscope is a medical instrument used for listening of sounds produced within the body, chiefly in the heart or lungs. You all know this. Stethoscope is used to listen the heartbeat. Mainly is used to listen the heartbeat. See, in stethoscope, the sound of the patient heartbeat reaches the doctor's ears by multiple reflection of sound. That is, stethoscope is based on the principle of multiple reflection of sound. Next, the audible range of sound for human beings extends from about 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. This is the audible range of human, but children under the age of 5 and for some animals such as dogs can hear up to 25 kHz. Next, sound of frequencies below 20 Hz are called infrasonic sound. Sound of frequencies below the 20 Hz is called as a infrasonic sound. Below the 20 Hz, this is the 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz is the audible range for humans. If that below the 20 Hz is known as the infrasonic sound. Rhinoceros and whales, elephant are belongs to this, or they are able to hear the infrasonic sound. It is you all know that you may all know that before earthquake, animals get to know there is happening earthquake. So that is, whales and elephants produces sound in the infrasound range. It is observed that some animals get disturbed before the earthquake produced at low frequency of infrasound sound before the main shock waves began, which possibly alert for animals. Actually, what is important here means definition infrasonic sound, that is sounds of frequency below 20 hertz is called as a infrasonic sound. Example, rhinoceros, whales, elephants communicate using the infrasonic sound. Next, ultrasonic sound. Frequencies higher than the 20 kilohertz is known as the ultrasonic sound or ultrasound. Ultrasound is produced by dolphins, bats. Next, ultrasounds can be detect cracks, flaws of metal blocks. Metallic components are generally used in construction of big structures like buildings, bridges, machines, and also scientific equipment. This is the use of ultrasound, that is used to detect the cracks. The crack or hole inside the metal block, which are visible from outside, reduces the strength of the structure. So ultrasonic sound waves are allowed to pass through the metal block. The detector is used to detect the transmitted waves. If there is any small defect, the ultrasound get reflected back. It indicates the presence of the flow or defect. Ultrasonic waves are made to reflect from various parts of the heart and form image of the heart. This technique is known as echocardiography. These are all example of or uses of ultrasonic sound. The first one is they are used to detect the cracks. Second one, they are used to reflect from the various part. They are used to reflect from various part of the heart and forms the image of the heart. Next, ultrasound scanner. This ultrasound scanner is an instrument which uses the ultrasonic waves for getting images of internal organs of the human body. A doctor may image of patient's organ such as liver, gallbladder, uterus, kidney, etc. It helps the doctor to detect the abnormalities such as stones in the gallbladder or kidney or tumor in the different organs. In this technique, the ultrasonic waves travels through the tissue of the body and get reflected from the region where there is a change in the tissue density. The four uses of ultrasonic waves are: first one is it is used to detect the cracks. Second one, ultrasound scanner, that is echocardiography. Third point is echocardiography. And another one is only three. Next, these waves are then converted into electrical signals. The ultrasound waves are converted into electrical signals that are used to generate the image of the organ. These images are then displayed on the monitor or are printed on a film. This technique is known as ultrasonography. Next, we are moving to sonar, that is the last part of the sound chapter, and this is an important topic. The acronym for sonar stands for sound navigation and ranging. This sonar is a device that uses ultrasonic sound waves to measure the distance, direction, and speed of the underwater objects. See in the picture. We'll recall once again the definition. Sonar stands for sound navigation and ranging. Sonar is a device that uses ultrasonic waves to measure the distance, direction and speed of underwater objects. See in the picture, boat, there will be one transmitter and one detector. These are placed in the boat. From the transmitter sends ultrasound. The sound will reach us the bottom of the sea, or any obstacle. It get reflected and it goes back to detector. This detector converts this wave into a electrical signal and do all the calculations. This is the sonar technique. Sonar technique means the transmitter sends the ultrasounds into the water. The sound will reflected by any obstacle or a sea, bottom of the sea. It get reflected back. This is detected by the detector. This detector converts this sound waves into electrical signals and it do all the calculations. We'll learn, that is, a sonar consists of a transmitter and a detector, and it is installed in a boat or the ship. Next, the transmitter produces and transmits the ultrasonic waves. These waves travel through a water and after striking to an object on the seabed get reflected back and are sensed by the detector. The detector converts the ultrasonic waves into electrical signals which are appropriately interpreted. Next, the distance of the object that reflected the sound wave can be calculated by the knowing the speed of the speed of the sound in water and the time interval between the transmission and reception of the ultrasound. The distance of an object can be calculated from the speed of the sound by knowing the value of the speed of the sound and the time interval between the transmission and reception of the sound wave. That is, see, the distance from this top to the bottom is calculated using the sonar method by knowing the speed of this ultrasound wave and the time interval between the transmitter and detector. Next, let the time interval between the transmission and reception of ultrasound signal be t, and the speed of the sound through a sea water will be v. We all know that speed is equals to distance by time. So distance is equal to speed into time. If 2d is the distance traveled by the sound, why 2d means, see here, first it is covering from transmitter to the bottom obstacle, that is d. Next obstacle to the detector, another one d. D plus d, 2d. So total distance is 2d. Then speed is v and t is time t. That is 2d is equals to v into t. This method is known as echo ranging. This solar technique is used to determine the depth of the sea and to locate the underwater hills, valleys, submarines, icebergs, shinken ships, etc. This is the use of the sonar technique that is used to determine the depth of the sea, to locate the underwater hills, valleys, submarines, icebergs, or shinken ships, etc. Again, if the speed of any substance, especially of an aircraft, be more than the speed of the sound wave in air, then the speed of the substance is called supersonic speed. If the speed of any substance, especially like aircraft, if its speed is more than the speed of the sound, then it is called as a supersonic speed. The ratio of speed of the body and that the sound in air is called as a Mach number. Mach number is the ratio of speed of body to the speed of air. This is called as a Mach number of the body. Mach number, if the Mach number of the body is greater than 1, then it is clearly known that it is a supersonic speed. Mach number is the ratio of speed of body to the speed of air, speed of sound in air, speed of sound in air. This is called as a Mach number. If a Mach number is greater than 1, then it is a supersonic speed. Thank you.